I did this home golf drill every day for a week and then tested my handicap to see how much of an impact it made. And the results were insane. You see, there's this one move that every good golfer does, and it starts at the top of the backswing. I'll pause it here and draw a line over each golfer, marking the top of their head. I'll also add a line covering their backsides. As they shift their weight during the downswing, you'll see two things happening. Their heads are lower at impact, and their backsides are basically in the same position. This is very different to a lot of amateur golfers who tend to early extend, standing up too early in the swing, resulting in a dramatic loss of power. So how do we go from looking like this to looking more like the pros? Well, that's where this home drill comes in. You can do it with a chair, a wall, a door, anything really, and the idea is to set up in your golf posture with your bum flat against whichever object it is that you've chosen. Now make a slow backswing. You need to keep your bum touching the object throughout the backswing, even pushing it slightly with your right butt cheek as you load your weight into your right leg. Now, this is the important part. On the transition to the downswing, you want to maintain contact with the object, but feel like you're pushing it hard with your left butt cheek. This will keep your head low at impact and stop you from early extending. Doing this drill with a chair is great because you can physically push the chair with your bum and have instant feedback that you're doing it right. Using a door also works really well because you can try to fling the door open during your downswing, which just feels really intuitive. Although make sure to put a pillow or something behind the door or you'll end up damaging the wall. So I did this drill for a week straight, around 30 minutes a day, splitting into 15 minutes before work and 15 minutes after work, so really not that much of a time investment. And of course, the big benefit with this drill is that you can do it anywhere. You don't need any special equipment. I even found myself practicing this motion throughout the day, and it became quite addicting because I could almost feel the muscle memory being built like it was becoming part of my normal swing. Now, I said at the start of the video that I tested my handicap after the week was over, but of course I had to also test it before I started practicing to find out where my starting point was. But how do you even test for a handicap without having to play multiple rounds of golf? Well, the answer is the TrackMan Combine. The TrackMan Combine is a standardized 60-shot test designed to evaluate a golfer's skill level by measuring accuracy and distance control over various clubs. It involves hitting 6 shots to 9 specific distances plus 6 drives to provide a detailed data-driven report to identify an individual's strengths and weaknesses. Oh, and it also estimates your handicap based on the results. So this is the report that TrackMan generates. You can see here all of the different yardages that I hit, and it's given me an overall score of 28.6, which is based on the accuracy and kind of distance from each individual yardage, averaged out across all of those 60 different shots. It's also given me an estimated handicap of 36 or above, which I think is a little bit harsh. I think there might be a little bit of a selection bias in that this data is based on the data inputted by all of the users, and typically if you've got something like a TrackMan simulator, you're probably better than the average golfer. So my thinking is that maybe these results are a little bit skewed, but who cares about that? What we really care about is the actual score that I got, and whether or not we can improve that after this week of training. We can see down here that the scores were broken down into different categories for each individual shot. So after a week of rigorous training, early mornings, late nights, sweat, blood, tears, and a very sore bottom, did I improve my TrackMan Combine score? Let's find out. I made sure to wear a blue top here instead of red so that I didn't get the footage mixed up. I also got the exact same clubs as last time and made sure that I took all the wedges out that I didn't have the first time round so that I didn't give myself an unfair advantage. You can see from my warm-up swings that I'm really trying to emphasize that feeling of pushing the door, extending my bum outwards to avoid my early extension habit. In the moment, I definitely felt like I was striking the ball better. Don't get me wrong, I had some rogue shots that were almost certainly caused by these new mechanics, most notably a few shots that flew off far to the left, which is never really a miss that I've experienced in the past, my miss is usually a slice, so I chalked those down to these new changes. But let me tell you, the best thing about this new swing is hitting long irons. When you catch the ball well, cleanly, the noise, the feel, it's just perfect. But feeling aside, did this help improve my score? I'll bring up the TrackMan report in just a moment, but first, here's a comparison video of the before and the after. So the shot on the left is me trying purposefully to push my bum out, and the clip on the right is before I did that, and I was just kind of going back to my old habits. So you can see here, actually, during this backswing, everything is pretty much identical from left to right. You'd almost think it's the same shot. But if we just put a line here on my backside, like we did right at the start of the video with the pros, we'll see something very, very different. Okay, so as we play the video, you can see on the left, my bum stays attached to that line, whereas on the right, that's the early extension creeping in. So all this to say that actually there is a very big difference, and you can see there at impact, the shot on the left looks so much more athletic, and the numbers don't lie. You know, if we look down at the numbers, we can see here that my shot on the left, I think this was with a 6-iron, went 178 yards in total, whereas the shot on the right, I still struck it fairly well, but it only went 147 yards. And that is the big difference. That is where the power comes from. It's that lower body. And this is the TrackMan Combine report. After a week of grueling practice, we have managed to increase our combine score by 10 points. Originally, it was 28.6. Now it's 38.8. I think that is a very, very good outcome. It's still showing me as having a 36 or above handicap. What I care about is making improvements on a daily, weekly basis, monthly basis. As long as we're getting in the right direction, I'm happy. And we can see here that we certainly are getting in the right direction. Funnily enough, my 160-yard shot is still one of my biggest weaknesses. In fact, in this new report, actually all of the long irons are my biggest weakness. And actually my shorter irons and wedges were a little bit more consistent. I think the reason for that is I've had such a habit of kind of throwing my arms at the ball to compensate for the fact that I stand up, which means if I continue to do that with my arms now and I'm a bit more bent over, then of course I'm just going to fat the ball and it's not going to go very far at all. So I think there's an element of that. Although my body posture and positioning is much more athletic, it's much more proper, I think I'm also not quite coordinated to the point where I'm consistently striking the ball very, very well. But there are a few shots there, and as I said, that's all that matters. But overall, I'm happy. The fact that this drill is so easy to do every single day, I think you should give it a go for a week, see what happens, get down the driving range, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like the video if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.